Peace, family. It's your good brother, Sir Bay, dialing in again for Control the Narrative. This is episode 2, featuring my special guest, DoeThePaperBoy. How you doing, brother?
Everything good, bro.
How you been, man?
All is well, man.
Man, thank you for taking the time out during your busy day-to-day to rap with me, man. You know, I mean, me and you go back, man. We got some definite history in the game out here.
Absolutely.
You're one of the people that, you know, I truly respect as a man first. You know, as a man, everything else aside, just as a man with your moral, you have a great moral compass, a lot of great integrity. You're an artist, a CEO, a fashion designer, a father, what else? You know what I'm saying? Like the list goes on. So welcome to the show, bro. Off the top, I want to ask you, you know, you've been doing music, we know that, but what triggered or what sparked your transition from music into the fashion game?
I think it started with the idea. I was working with a rock band called Against Grace, shout out to them. And we go around all the time and they say, "Where's your merch?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I got CDs, I got, what's merch?" And It was like, well, it's like t-shirts and rubber bands, you know, things that people can see without listening to your music.
Right.
And I was like, do I need to have it? They was like, yeah, because sometimes you sell more of that than you do music.
Facts.
Because people love t-shirts.
Absolutely.
So it had got to a point where I don't know how to do a little bit of everything. You ever been to somebody's house and they be like, I don't know how to cook a little bit of food, I know how to cook a lot of food.
A whole bunch.
So
Facts.
I started off with a lot of merch.
Right.
So, you know, it was times where it wasn't shows and I was still pushing my merch. And it just became, you know, it became a thing.
So with you doing music with them, that actually birthed you thinking about merch and fashion.
Absolutely. Prior to that, I did have a couple brush-ins with doing things. Had a brand called Product of Petersburg, Mr. Exclusive.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was, you know, messing around with it a little bit, but I didn't understand the target audience.
Right.
So for the first time, I had an audience I could target.
Right.
Music consumers, you know,
Right.
that demographic. So I was like, oh, so music consumers do wear clothes, they wear merch, and then it just
Absolutely.
yeah,
Merch.
it made me put the two ideas together, and then it took off.
Like you said, merch is a real commodity for a lot of artists, especially when you're touring, man. A lot of cats don't realize that. It's like, all right, after you get off the stage, because it's, like I always say, it's about the lifestyle. The brand and the lifestyle are the same thing. And that's why authenticity comes into play. You know, when you're being an artist or just being a creative, you have to really know who you are so you can be who you are in this life. So the bike.
Okay.
When did that come into play? When did that logo design come into play?
So it's a funny story about the bike. What was it? I think it was 2012. I had a show at the National, and
you was killing the National
Foot,
too, bro.
yeah, I appreciate that. Foot was DJ for me at the time.
Shout out DJ Foot.
Shout out to DJ Foot. He was like, "Hey, Doe, you the paper boy, right?" That's how he sounds.
Right.
I said, yeah.
Fact.
He said, "You should ride a bike out on stage." I was like, "Man, Foot, I'm not no clown, bro. Like, what do you mean ride a bike out on stage? Like, clown? I'm here to amuse people."
Right.
He's like, "No, I'm serious. I got a bike." So you go to the garage. He got this all chrome beach cruiser. I'm talking about it's laid out. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. I ain't riding no bike out on stage. So my boy Abril, Anna Griffith doing shout out to him.
Abril.
He was like, matter of fact, you can ride it. I'm gonna bring it up there in the truck. So I was like, all right, man, you bring it up there. I'll ride it. So he brings it up. I get on the bike, the music starts, I ride out to the stage. So as I'm coming out, if you look at the old videos, I was like, y'all like this? And the crowd kind of like really got excited. Cheats movement simultaneously
Shout out Cheats.
Put a tweet out about it. And a lot of people was like, "Don't want a bike, don't want a bike, don't want a bike, don't want a bike," and it just kind of became this thing. So, then Abril goes to the drawing board and he designs the bike. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Actually, so Abril designed this?
Yeah, Abril.
I didn't know that. So, that's crazy.
Yeah, and the Doe as well.
Okay.
Drive over
Wow,
everything.
That's
So he puts it together, and the rest is just history, and it continue to be written. You know what I'm saying? It just listening to people around you. DJ Foot is somebody with a lot of wisdom.
Oh man, let me tell you something. Foot has, like, even with Grand Prix, you know what I'm saying, he gave them a lot of great insight and brand information and advice. Foot is like staple in the game and an OG. He truly is an OG out here.
It just some people they kind of spew wisdom. Like even in the middle of a joke, it's a lot of wisdom.
OG wisdom, bro. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Man, that's crazy. I didn't know Arbriel did the logos for that. So that's crazy. And that ties into the mag too.
Yeah.
You know, like with the anagram. Shout out to DT too. So
shout out to my boy DT.
What does the bike represent to you? What is the symbology of it?
So to me, it's a revelation, man. Like at the time, 2012, man, I was, going through a lot. I was still working a regular 9 to 5 and trying to transition into, what now would be everything that it is now.
Right.
Independent. This is independence. That's really what it was all about.
Absolutely.
So the bike was almost like a testimony. Like I said, to keep pedaling. It's like God put it in my life, not as an idol.
Right.
But more as a reminder. Like, you know what I mean? Some people see rainbows, they say rainbows remind you God would never flood the earth again. And the bike to me is a representation of, I'll give you the vehicle, you have to pedal it.
You gotta put that
like
work
a lot
in.
of people, a lot of people, they want to, I guess they assume we're supposed to just jump in the car and hit the gas and
go.
That's how our journey is. But no, it's really about getting on that bike and pedaling that bike. So when you see that bike, you see me put a bike, that means work.
Go.
Yeah, and that's you gotta pedal.
Drive over everything.
Drive over everything. That's that drive like a car, no, drive like a bike.
And bro, I mean, your pieces are amazing, man. You got some dope pieces. I mean, you got the hats right there. I seen you had like the poncho. That joint is crazy, bro. Man. So, like your ideas in regards to the fashion that you create, what inspires you on the fashion side?
It's everything, man. Like obviously I watch a lot of fashion. I try to fashion forward. What I mean is they always know the colorways and schemes and looks they're gonna put out in advance. I try to follow those type of people on Instagram that are dropping those little jewels and stuff like that. And then I try to take what they have for me and then think outside the box at the same time, like still being my own person.
That's dope.
I seen a guy in here one day with a poncho on. It was he had a Native American joint on. It was nice. It's probably maybe like a year ago, and I was like, he had locks, and I was like, man, that's kind of dope. I wish I need to do me one.
Right.
So I got my hand on a distributor and ordered a couple, and the rest is what it is. I put it on. I knew the response was gonna be pretty good.
Man,
like, you know what I'm saying?
That was crazy, bro.
Once I seen the amount of people that really liked it. What's up, bro?
How you doing?
Yeah, everything good. Once I seen the amount of people that really liked it, I just ran with it. You know what I'm saying? People was ordering it, but yeah, man, it's a dope piece. One of my boys that hit me, he was like, man, I was gonna joke on you, but then I really took a look at it like, wait a minute, you got on the bread 11s and you got on you tying two worlds together.
Double splashing out here, bro. Come on, man. So I mean,
shout out to my boy TJ.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, because like I said, man, you have a great moral compass. You're in a great mental space. You're a positive brother, forward thinking, introspective. I mean, there's a lot of great qualities about you. Let's rewind it back to your household, man. Okay. Were you born in Petersburg?
Yeah, I'm from the Burg. Born in the Burg. And I done lived on every part of town.
Okay, born in the Burg. So, how was your upbringing? How was your household? What was it like? Take me back to young Doe, running around,
man,
fresh in the world, don't know nothing.
Man, well, my grandmother lived in Berkeley Manor, so that's one extreme. We kind of grew up on Rome Street, Gillfield. That's another extreme. So, you kind of had this 80% of the time in the hood, 20% of the time somewhere else that looks like it's Prince George, but I don't know where I'm at because I'm a kid. Okay. But it ain't like over here.
Okay.
And a lot of just growing up, having to be somebody, make adult decisions really young, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't say there's a knock against my parents or anything like that, but as a young man, I had a extreme conscience, like for who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. Right. But the problem with that is, when you do know what you want to do, you got people that'll come and rob you of that. I mean, whether it be other kids who don't understand. So I remember one time being in 3rd grade and drawing a shoe. And a kid came up to me and he was like, man, that's whack. Anybody never gonna wear your shoe and blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm drawing because my mother draws. So my mama is an amazing artist. She don't even put half the work. I don't even know why she do it. Don't do it anymore, but I'm gonna get her a studio one day.
Come on, mama.
Don't be looking at this interview either. But yeah, it's like I was, people will rob you of things. So I knew who I wanted to be, but in 3rd grade that happened. So it kind of like shut my program, like it turned down another set of programming. Right. What was the outside influence. Right. Up to 3rd grade, I had it under control, like who I wanted to be and everything like that. Right. And then here's coming this outside world noise, like traffic. Yeah. And from that moment forward, man, it seemed like things got just kind of hectic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say my childhood was worse than anybody else's, but you know, what I've been through is what I look like, and it's what shaped me to be who I am.
So
You know what I'm
when
saying?
were you able to, because you're young, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't realize we're in the hood or we're in the jacks or whatever you want to call it. We don't realize it till later on, because when you're young, you just having fun. Your cousins, your friends, you can't contrast. So when did it kick in regards to you being able to contrast? Like, yo, when I'm here, it's like this. When I'm over here, it's different. You know what I'm saying? When were you able to kind of differentiate and make the different distinction and comparison between the two?
So I think it was, and it's a funny story, because I used to go to my grandma's house all the time and ride my bike. And you just ride around, you have fun. So you bring your bike back across town. And one day my boy said, let me borrow your bike.
Oh, here
I
we
said,
go.
all right, cool. So I was like, man, don't ride through Dunedin. Because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to live in Dunedin too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, all right, I ain't gonna ride through Dunedin. Because I couldn't leave off the strip. I used to live on B Street. I was on punishment for something. But they said you could stay in front of the house. He goes to Dunedin and get my bike taken.
There
right?
you go.
So we go back around there, like me, you know, a couple of my other homeboys, he wouldn't go back.
Right.
And we could never find the bike. Like, I don't know what happened. It just mysteriously, I don't know if an alien came and took it. I don't know what happened. E.T. might have had it. But I know, but I started to realize that on certain parts of town, things happen and they don't happen on other times. Gunshots on one side of town, not so much on the other side of the other side of town. Kids all play together on this side of town.
Right.
It's a different stuff.
So how old were you, like, when you started to have these distinctions around the age?
Honestly, probably about, I would say like 9.
Okay.
7, 8, or 9, like somewhere in there. Like, that's probably when it really began to people started choosing sides, I would call it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or making up these individual invisible divides that really don't need to exist. Like, all of a sudden today, we ain't hanging with cuz no more.
Come on,
like, you know what I'm saying?
And that goes back to, you know, a lot of socio-economic and a lot of other things that, you know, we're indoctrinated with, that, you know, once we start to come of age, and it's usually around that, you know, 12, 13, 14 year mark where, you know, you start to see more and more of that. Like, it's crazy that you say your bike got taken, because back where I'm from, Wilmington, North Carolina, we came home to visit, and this is when I had the distinction. I used to love coming home, playing with my cousins. I'm young, you having fun. Same thing. My brother we got a new bike, and my brother was riding the bike through the projects. You know, he's a little kid just riding the bike, and I hear screaming, I'm like, who's screaming? That sound like my brother Anthony. So I'm running. He getting jumped. They try to take the bike. I come, you know, knocking him off the bike. But that for me was like, yo, I mean, because my mom was in the military. When we on base, it's like this. But when we come back to Taylor home, it's a whole, you know what I'm saying? That was the distinction. You know, so it's crazy that you say that. Now, back to fashion. And, you know, while the topic is out there, it's a hot button topic right now with Gucci. The Gucci situation. Now, I'm going to give you my personal take, and I'm going to get yours, because you are in the fashion industry. You know, me personally, I look at it like this. I like to connect the dots, as you know. You know, give passion purpose. I like to connect the dots.
You see it.
You know, so you see Soulja Boy, Draco, Big Draco. he go on his promo run. He wearing his worn out Gucci bandana. You know, looking a little stretched out, but hey, whatever. He wearing his Gucci bandana or whatever. You know, a couple weeks later, Gucci comes out with the you know, the black face or whatever the case may be. Now, me personally, I don't care I really don't care. But just looking at the topic from an observational standpoint, you know, I feel that Gucci and a lot of these high-end fashion designers, they do these things on purpose as a social experiment. I feel it's a social experiment to ultimately validate or try to validate their stance in the industry, or to validate their relevancy or the lack thereof within the industry. You know, ultimately, I just look at it as a social experiment that they throw out there to see who's gonna side with who they can disrupt, who they can upset, and ultimately, it's gonna bring their stock up regardless. So, you know, from a fashion standpoint, and as a brother, and as a pillar of the community, what's your objective take on it, and your personal take on the Gucci situation?
So, that's very interesting what you said about, you know, from an experimental standpoint. I thought about it like that, but I never really listened to anybody, you know, kind of verbalize it and put it out there.
Word.
So shout out to you for that. That's
Appreciate
dope.
that.
My perception of everything is always personal.
Right.
And there are times when I feel like when I speak in public that I have a responsibility to relay messages to other people according to what I truly feel and what I feel is best for us all.
Absolutely.
So from a personal standpoint, when I seen it, it did bother me because I said, this obviously is a brand that doesn't, one sweater run of maybe a bad idea, in my opinion, it wouldn't cost you anything to pull it, swipe the neck off, and
nothing.
it's a sweatshirt. You
It's
know what I'm
nothing.
saying? So that's just me speaking. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, from the whole, blackface culture and everybody with this and that, I just think it was very distasteful.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Not necessary, not warranted.
At all. 1,000%.
400 years or something that existed. And then the imagery that comes from that and how they make fun of it, it's not a damn joke.
It's not.
It's Black History Month anyway, by the way.
And that's another.
So from that, that's how I feel personally. Now, for what's best for us all, I feel like the first thing we need to understand is this: everybody has the right to have their own opinion.
Absolutely.
All right. So T.I. said let's boycott. Many others say let's boycott. Floyd decided to take a different kind of approach and say, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. That's cool. But at the same time, remember that. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So just don't keep the same energy. So just don't expect the help to come if you ever decide you want to need it. And that's all I'm saying. So if you want to heckle, and sometimes it's not necessary to heckle. And that's what I think a lot of times with our community, we see somebody standing for something, and the first thing we want to talk about is how we not standing for it. We have not learned how to be quiet yet. We have not learned how to be quiet yet. Like, everybody talk too much. I know right now I'm talking, so it's almost like I'm contradicting, but I'm just trying to relay a message. Y'all don't see me doing this too much. My man reached out to me and was like, let's chop it up. And I said, yo, it's a great idea. Yeah, because we controlling the narrative. But people talk too much, man. You know how much stuff I hear? And it stopped right here. And I said I would never repeat that because I don't want to be irresponsible with that.
Oh, man.
This could tear some things apart. And if somebody ever came to me and said, "Oh, you knew," I ain't know nothing.
Come on now.
I have absolutely no clue what you talking about.
Man, come on now.
I don't want to be involved in nothing like that.
Bro.
And I would tell the person that's telling me, "Hey, man, maybe that's something that you shouldn't have told anybody, man. You should keep that to yourself."
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so powerful that you say that, man, because there's so much power in the actual attention. We animate and give more power to the actual thing we're against by talking about it, by arguing with each other, by debating about it. Yeah. If nobody would have responded at all to the Gucci blackface thing, I mean, nobody tweeted about it, talked about it, reposted it, Instagram storied about it, none of that, Gucci would have felt dumb as a bitch. Yeah. They would have felt stupid. Because ultimately, the social experiment, they wouldn't have the lab rats to test. I feel like it's a paradigm of you're either going to be the scientist or the lab rat. Yeah. And we love to jump into that lab rat position where we like to be experimented or be the experiment or be the subject of the experiment instead of just saying we're not participating. So like you said, when something comes to your ear, and not just Gucci, anything that's negative, it's not progressive, or it's going to tear something down, man, that's a powerful energy to contain. Like you said, you need to know how to filter out the stuff that's coming to you. Everybody doesn't have that life skill. So what does that come from? Like, you being able to use discernment. You know what? It really comes from so when I grew up, at first my mom and dad was together, and then my dad went his way. My dad, I'm one of those type of cats that kind of grew up with a grudge against my pops, and then I realized what he did. Like, my dad was the type of dude that put himself on child support and made sure that the kids were straight, and he tried to be there the best he could, but he was raising his brother and sister. That's another story. Wow, that's amazing.
My man always had jewels. Like, I'm talking about, every time I'm around my dad, it's a learning experience the whole time. Like, I'm talking about, we did do a few things, like we used to go hiking and, little things he put in there, like we went hiking through Lee Park and places that, behind there. I've been all through back there. But it was always some type of life skill. I don't care if I was just with him for 1 weekend a month or 2 hours a month. The whole time Jules was
being dropped.
The whole time.
Sure
and I didn't realize that till I get older, and I started saying some of the things my dad used to say to my friends, and they repeat it, and we use it as jokes because my dad is a wise dude, bro. So, with the whole watching what you say or keeping your mouth shut, I remember one particular time I had got in trouble, and my dad told me, and I was at somebody's house, and my dad told me, he was like, yo, you got to do better with what you say, like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, when the people came to ask, who was involved, and they said we know it was you or know it was y'all, none of y'all should have said anything.
Right.
You don't even have to. Not telling you to not own up to responsibility,
but you got rights.
But you have rights, and you need to learn your rights and know your rights. So at a very young age, I learned that, and I was like, a lot of times if they accuse me, you, and somebody else of something, for instance, and I say I'm guilty,
right.
I just said y'all was guilty too.
Facts. You claimed it. You just
like, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So
look at the RICO cases that people,
that's what it is. So I learned that, and I think I learned that when I was like 12, 13.
Wow. So that's what.
So as you get older, man, like as you get older, you have your other tests and trials, and then you just learn to just kind of just be quiet sometimes.
Right.
And that's all really what it is. Like it's just being quiet, bro. Like everything, silent protests are okay too. Like, and that's what I mean by like with the whole thing with I see now a lot of the higher end people now or the celebrities are supporting independent brands. I think that's dope.
Come on now. That's what
Don't just post them. I think it would be dope if you go to their website and spend $10,000-$20,000 on the website.
Come on now.
Screenshot that.
Come on
and
now.
And tag them on your. Then do that. Then put up a challenge. That way we can see the money flow back to the community. It's gonna come right back.
Come on now,
it's gonna come right back, man. It's the same. I'm telling you, it's the same money. If you cutting grass and I'm selling lawnmowers, right? You know what I'm saying? We got a friend that sell gas. You gonna come buy lawnmowers from me.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna buy tools from somebody else.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You go back and that's how it works. It's the same money being passed around.
Circulated.
It has to circulate, bro.
You segue right into what I was bringing up to. I was like, man, at the end of the day, I led with the Gucci thing because ultimately, no matter how you feel, we should be supporting our own independent businesses more and more. I mean, I literally have on a shirt. Y'all should be able to see it. You got my man Andre 3000 on it. This is from Bobby Fresh. Esoteric Fresh. I put his Instagram. He makes these shirts. He has a lot of iconic figures, and he's an artist.
Bro?
Peace. He has a lot of artistic people on his clothing line, man. So support. I'll put the link in there. Obviously, you got Doe. Yeah. We're here live in Dapper Pause right now.
230 Southpark Circle.
Come on, man. Southpark Mall. Definitely come through, support. You got high-end fashion designer wear, you got urban wear, everything you need. The shoe game is crazy. So, ultimately, man, we got to start doing exactly what you said. Funneling, circulating, and putting the dollar back into our own pocket. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, we control the pulse of the culture anyway. Yeah. We say what's hot.
Yeah.
So, at the end of
that's the truth. Like, whether people want to admit it or not, like, what we do, it's cool. We stand out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who we are makes people pay attention.
Come on now.
This isn't a ultimate race card or anything like that. Like, no. And it's not black privilege either. It's just what it is things that are a little darker in certain places. They just seem to emulate a little bit different.
It's science, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we don't look like what we've been through. If you get what I'm saying, like, take that for all my people out there, whoever you are. Like, I'm speaking specifically to those who might, be discouraged. Like, we don't look like what we've been through. So we look like overcomers.
Yes, and we are.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what it looks like. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why we adorn ourselves in certain pieces, and people don't understand why we do it. And some of us have to go out and get the Gucci to try to make ourselves feel better. But ultimately, we're putting ourselves in a bigger hole when we could take that 20, 30, 40,000 and we could build something of our own. You know what I'm saying?
And it's only money is only gonna allow fashion designers to get more quality clothing, quality material.
Yeah, that's all it is.
All you're
They'll
doing
get
is
better.
upgrading. The clothes are gonna get better. So for those that are saying, I want to support my people, but the quality of the material ain't the same. Look, man, the more money you put into it, it's gonna increase the material, increase the quality, bring in more designers. So you're building you're building your own community. You're building your own merchant system. You know what I'm saying? We're building and funding our own system. So it's a psychological thing, man. I think it's happening now more gradually because we're in the information age, and the information is available on social media. So ultimately, I feel we're gonna get there. We're in a good space to get there.
Absolutely, we are.
So now let's get to this music, man. Okay. Like, you've been doing music for a while. I remember when I got to Virginia, and I was knee deep in my music thing. I will always see that black and white logo, VASK. I see that everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, what does VASK stand for?
So vision, ambition, strength, and knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Vision, ambition, strength, and knowledge. The founding fathers of that, you got my man Chris Bailey, C. Arson, TJ,
what up?
Thomas Stores. You got me, DoeThePaperBoy. At the time, I was John Doe. Then one of our own homeboys, Young Wallace. as well. He was with us from the rip, like, you know what I'm saying. So, you know, that's VASK, and it's so many other people. I mean, you got my boy Randy, you got Eon, Tony T, you got April, you got DT. It's so many. It's so many in the name. If I forget anybody, charge it to my mind and not my heart.
Absolutely.
But Ashina, you know what I'm saying. It's a lot of us, man, and you know, we've been doing music for a while.
So what was the goal of the collective? What was y'all vision?
Really, just to you know, we used to have fun, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, let's create this platform and let's just see what it becomes. Let's just see if we really about what it is that we talking about. Like, let's not chase the major deal. Let's not care about any of that. Let's see how much stuff we can do on our own.
Right.
That's really what it became about. Like, we thought about being independent before, you know, I mean, people, of course, other people was independent as well, but it was cool to us to be independent because it was like you had the freedom to create and do whatever you wanted to do. Back in the day, it was about
getting a deal.
Yeah,
it wasn't, the independent spirit wasn't as big. Back then, it was like, yo, get the deal, get the deal.
Get the deal. So, like, we was thinking independent from the rip. Like, we ain't care nothing about no record label. It's like, yo, we doing this, we doing that, we gonna do the show. Like, we've done shows all over the place, man.
Right. No, y'all been rocking, man. Like I said, everywhere I go, you know, I be putting my flyers or whatever. I see that VASK. Your music would be out there. I mean, like, y'all will be out there, and it's a positive movement too. Now, I want to segue to you being at the National, because, bro, I promise you, I don't know if you had a residency there like they do in Vegas, bro, but you was at the National like every other week, killing it. You know what I'm saying? How did you hook that up?
It all kind of just started with the first person I think I seen at the National, it might have been Black Liquid or Noah O. That's besides the point. I just want to shout them out real quick, because at the end of the day, from that Richmond region, you gotta salute them guys, man, because they were there. You know what I'm saying? So they saw what it was. You know what I'm saying? From here, I'd say the National, a lot of people don't even know what it is because it's up there. Right? So let me salute them on their home field, on their playing field. You know what I'm saying? But on this end, was rocking out with AG against Grace, and you know, found myself with them opening for a band called Conditions, who was actually signed, and the ticket sales went so well that, you know, we got called up for a couple other shows, and all of a sudden they said, hey, we're gonna put you guys on a show together, like you two guys, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
How did you meet AG? How did you meet them?
Man, I was in Wabi Sabi one day, and I always go down there and I like crab cake with the sweet potato fries. So I'm chilling. I get it to go, even though I sit there and eat half of it.
Right.
And I hear somebody rocking out, like, you know what I'm saying? I said, I'ma go. Like, you know what I'm saying? I said, this sound pretty dope. I said, so by the time I get to the step, something calling me. I'm like, man, I gotta go over here and see who this is, because this particular night, this band rocking. Like, I like this. So I go around and I look, and I see a bunch of kids. You know what I'm saying? Kids. Not, when I say kids, I don't mean kids. I'm talking about just young cats. Like, you know what I'm saying? In their 20s. You know what I'm saying? I was in my 20s at the time too.
Right.
And they rocking out. I mean, they doing their thing. So I'm like, yo, like, that's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me introduce them, because I do music. So I'm gonna introduce myself. I say, hey, I'm Doe. And they was like, hey, I'm Wes, and, you know, come to find out my boy Wes actually went to Petersburg High School. We graduated the same year.
Really?
Yeah.
Did y'all never seen each other?
Kind of in the hall, faintly.
Okay, but
he was going one way, I was going another way. And it just, from there, it kind of turned into this. I have an idea for a song, to us actually rehearsing and practicing, to actually doing a event, to going on the road and going to North Carolina and being able to record in the same studio that Big Pun recorded in, to mixing with Mitch Easter, and I mean, Mitch Easter is actually in the Smithsonian. It's one of those museums, Smithsonian Museum Hall, like one of the Hall of Fames for just being an engineer. Like, you know what I'm saying? This guy, it's a song that go da, 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 da. He actually mixed and mastered that song. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, this, we in the presence of some great people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
goat activity.
I shout out to them, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Mel too. But you know, and that's kind of how it happened, man. It just happened. Like, some things are just meant to happen. That's why you gotta learn. We gotta learn not to take over at the moment, but we gotta learn how to trust our spirit, because I'm trying to leave.
Go.
You know what I'm saying?
Go
and
in.
The spirit, and something like, nah, go back and holler and find out who that is. I'm like, nah, I'm out. I got what I needed. Nah, go holler.
Right.
So I went and hollered at them, man. It was a great experience.
Now, had you not listened to your intuition, because that's what you're talking about, your intuition. That's your internal navigation system, which a lot of people, they ignore or they don't trust. But that inner mechanism, you have to learn to, not you, I'm just saying in general, we have to learn to tap into that and trust that more, because as you just pointed out, had you not went and spoke to them, who you probably it never would have led, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it would have took another path to get there.
Yeah.
And that actually leads me to another question. So if you had to define what your gift and what your passions are, what would you say you're gifted at? What would you say you're naturally good at? Just naturally you're good at it. And what would you say you're passionate about? And it doesn't have to be one exclusive thing. It could be a multitude of different things if you'd like.
So I think when it comes to just the gifted, is just the whole artist, and I mean that from just the clothing aspect. I'm talking about artists, just lyricism and just poetry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just gifted. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I gotta pull my
dropping balls.
Yeah, I gotta pull my phone out and bleed this stuff off, or I gotta say good morning to the kids in some type of poetic way, and they like, oh, Dad, you wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I just gotta do it. And then with the passion, it would be the clothes. It's not really forced.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? It is a gift as well, but it's my mother's gift, it's my father's gift combined. I can recognize that because I've had the conversations. My mother was the artist who draw.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Boom. I was language arts. My father had 2 or 3 shirts coming up. He would take the sewing needle and put logos and stuff on them just so he could look like he had different stuff. So as I get older, my father tells me, man, I admire you because you're doing exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to have my own clothing brand. And then my mother from the other end telling me, I'm very proud of you because you're the artist. You're an artist.
That's
and you know, beautiful. That's why it's important that we tie into our roots and understand who we are and where we're from.
Absolutely.
You know, 3rd grade had young boy never said, man, that's whack.
Yeah, right.
I could have been out on the path a whole lot earlier. And you know what I'm saying? And
it happens. It happens, man. Especially without, encouragement, the right family structure. I mean, a lot of youngins out here are dealing with the same thing, but they don't have, either the mental strength or somebody, a big brother or a father or mother that they can lean on. And like you said, they end up straying. So that's why I think it's so important for cats like us to just, speak and be as transparent as possible to show cats that, look, man, you're not out here on your own. We've been through it. We still go through it, and we're gonna persevere. Based on where we're at in our mental space. So if you had to, would you say, and I'm not going to ask you what your purpose is. I think that's sacred. I think that's a personal thing. Okay. But I want to ask, do you feel like you're on your life path for your purpose? Do you feel like you're fulfilling your life purpose at this point?
Absolutely.
I see it.
But every day, obviously, it's anywhere you're going. It's a process. It's a road, and there's many detours along the road if you're not careful.
Absolutely.
So I would say that. I'm trying to make the mark as often as possible. Like I don't like the distractions because there's so much stuff to be distracted by. Yeah, but I can see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see not necessarily end game, but I see legacy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's all that's really important to me, man. Like I see the family photo album. I see the family Bible. I see, grandma's pots and pans from 3 generations ago. And that's really what it's about. That's what's rich. Yeah. Like, gold is people look at gold and say gold is rich. It's rich to have that painting that your grandmother did. Your great. Like, that's rich. The photo album with that's rich. Yes. You understand?
It's actually wealthy. That's wealth.
Yeah.
It's actually wealth.
It's wealth. That's what rich wealth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like those are the things that are really important. Like, we place value on the wrong things, man, and we gotta get back to
on the wrong thing.
We have to get back to that legacy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got, man, you like to watch all these people on Instagram, but what pictures are more beautiful than your grandmother's pictures or your sister's pictures? And all I know why y'all looking at that other stuff too. No disrespect. But what I'm saying is that's the stuff that's important. Those are the type of things that's supposed to make you motivate to wake up and get to it.
Legacy has been a reoccurring theme for me lately too, and I've been talking about it a lot, and the universe has been throwing that at me a lot. Legacy. Listen. And even with Instagram, like you say, like now within the last year or so, I've been thinking like, man, ultimately Instagram, for example, is my digital scrapbook. Like, I used to keep a scrapbook when I was young. Now we just keep it in the digital form. But I'm thinking like, man, when my children's children or their children or whatever look back, they can go on the internet and look at, hey, I wonder what great grandpa was talking about, or what he was posting about, or what he stood for. Now they can recall it and look. They're gonna actually be able to look at this. So we're creating digital time capsules. So our legacy is being recorded every day. So that made me think like, all right, the content that I'm putting out, it really has to mean something. You know, I'm
Real
not
talk.
just, you
No,
know
real
what I'm
talk.
saying?
No, real talk.
In
Real
a
talk.
world where 90% of the people are just posting just to post, just to be seen, just to try to portray a lifestyle, it's dangerous, man. And a lot of people are being railroaded and thrown off their life path because of it. So I'm glad you hit on that, bro. And we're going to get into much, much more, man. We're going to take a quick break. This is Control the Narrative live here at Dapper Pause. Stay tuned. All right, family, peace. Welcome back to Control the Narrative. We're live here at Dapper Pause, once again with DoeThePaperBoy. And before we continue with the interview, man, we definitely got to celebrate some heroes, some local heroes. First, we have to super ashe to Arthur Ashe, who just got a street named after him in Richmond, man. The boulevard is officially Arthur Ashe Boulevard in Richmond, man. So that is super dope. Salute to the GOAT, the legend. Also, we have to super salute Mad Skills, who got his own day in Richmond, man. Mad Skills Day, February 13th, man. That is monumental. So congratulations to you, good brother. We definitely are happy for you over here, all right?
Absolutely.
So back to my man, Doe. Man, so, you know, I want to ask you, bro, your entrepreneurial spirit, where does that come from?
So, let me adjust this mic.
Oh, yeah, handle your business, handle your business,
crazy.
bro.
I'm like, Doe got the bloopers for days. I just got to.
Nah, you good, man. Get comfortable, bro. We good, man. People know what it is.
Really just, you know, okay, so I was in the military at one point. I got out, and I worked for somebody else for 10 years, you know, and...
Wow, 10 years.
Yeah, and it's stuck in this warehouse. So after I stopped working there, I began to, like, do different things during the day, go to the gym, and go different places. And I started to realize that in order for you to be able to wake up in the morning and decide, today I'm not working,
right,
you have to be an entrepreneur. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have it, your life set up according to that. So like my life is set up according to, on Mondays and Tuesdays, I don't like to be an early riser per se.
Right.
I wanna enjoy my day. So I go in at a certain time. Wednesdays I don't work.
Right.
Thursdays I work all day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's how I got mine laid out. Some people, they're a little different. They want to be off on the weekends.
Right.
I don't want to be off on the weekends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
You know, so that's, I think it's just a time control thing.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I couldn't per se work for somebody else.
Right.
In the original context, because even when you work for yourself, you still work for somebody else.
Absolutely.
To a certain extent, like, depending on what you're a part of, especially an organization like what I am. Like, we all represent each other's families and all that different stuff. I'm working for me, I'm working for us all.
Right.
So, you know, I just like the freedom. It's a time thing,
That's what I was getting ready to say, man. You love the freedom. You love the aspect of being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
That's the most important thing to me.
Absolutely, you know the freedom. So, and speaking of fitness too, so what got you into the fitness kick, man? I mean, I see you in the gym, working out, staying consistent with that, man. You know, you getting right, bro. What triggered that fitness?
For real, just for real, running was kind of a thing I did to just, that's my first step in getting in shape, was running. Prior to that, I used to follow a lot of people on Instagram that was working out, and I was motivated, and I had hit one person up and was like, hey, you should wear my brand and, you know, work out and blah, 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 blah. And they kind of, they ain't necessarily curved me, but it was just kind of like, well, I'm doing my own thing with my own brand. And I was like, well, I was like, wait a minute, I need to do this for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that moment, I got on the floor, I did 10 push-ups, and from that 10 push-ups turned into running 5 miles every Friday to going to the gym, and then that was like
so
like
you still running 5 miles every Friday?
Absolutely not. I'm gonna tell you something. Let me explain something to you. So some people like myself, I got a high metabolism.
Yeah, me too.
So if I get to running like that, man,
slim down real quick.
Bad. And I don't. You know, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you have to have a limit. It's a good way to get yourself. A lot of times when you're trying to build muscle, it's good to break everything down and then start back over, as opposed to try to turn that into, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I was so addicted to running one time. I used to, like, on Mondays and Tuesdays, I'd be riding down the street. I see somebody running. I used to get jealous.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm talking about really. My body was, I was like, man, they can run. I can run too. I'm going to go and put the car up.
Right.
My wife, you know what I'm saying? She was like, well, I thought you said you run on Fridays only. I'm like, but I feel like I want to run the
Right,
gate.
right now.
I get in the yard, I'm jogging. Because it became like once you, whatever you keep doing over and
You
over
get
and over
passionate,
again,
yeah.
like, your body will start craving to do it. Like I was craving running.
Facts. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Same thing with like with people who got other type of habits,
Yeah.
whether they be negative habits.
Yeah.
It's a trigger type of
Yeah.
thing. So speaking to you as a brother, man, from a spiritual aspect, me and you, we do have a common thread in regards to narrative. You have a brother, and I have a brother that transitioned from the physical. My brother, he left in a tragic circumstance. And I dealt with it the way I dealt with it, and it brought me to the understanding that I have now. So with you personally, with the transition of your brother, one, how did that affect you? Two, what did you learn, and how did you grow from that, and how did you deal with that? Because some people, when they deal with transition and loss, it can turn into a deep and dark spiral, for a lot of people. So what kept you on your path?
So first of all, forever Sean, you know what I'm saying? Let's yell it out. And my condolences to you as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mighty Dukes.
That's very important to me as well. The health of others.
Mental health.
At first, I didn't deal with it. I think each individual, like I said, control the narrative. Each individual, you have to do things in a way so that the Most High and God can come to you on your level and deal with you. Like, he will deal with us, all individuals, differently.
Absolutely.
Because we're all his children and we all have different characteristics.
100%.
So with me, at one point in life, I was very, I used to run from problems. You know what I'm saying? So when you run from something, it doesn't go anywhere. I was telling my son that a couple of weeks ago, it doesn't go anywhere. So what I did when he first passed away, obviously it hurts.
Yeah. So
you cry every night and the tears are hot, they burn. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not normal, they're forced. It's like your eyes are throwing up.
Fact.
So it's different. And then you get to a point where you kind of like, you go to the cemetery all the time and then you try to put it behind you and then you try to forget about it. So what you do is you bury it pretty good. Like, you think you're over it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's small little things that trigger you and you just break down again and you just keep running from it. Then you start using it as an excuse to do messed up stuff. So I was at that point too, like, well, I ain't got to, because I ain't this. And people used to be like, man, they give you a pass. And they're like, man, he really going through it. Like, I see it.
Right.
So I ran from this thing for 3 years. And when it finally hit me, that's really when I quit my job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yo, I can't be held down or bounded by anybody anymore. Like, telling me what to do.
Right.
Because I used to wake up, I used to drive down the same street, I used to make the same right turn, I used to make the same left turn, I used to stop, get the same bag of chips and the same juice, drive to work the same road, come to lunch break, go get the same thing, eat it in the car. Everything was, I was a part of this system.
Yeah, you had,
like, I was like this.
Right.
It was a hamster on a wheel.
Yeah, hamster
so
on the
when
wheel.
my brother passed away, it just taught me, like, yo, you have to really begin to live your life. Like, I wasn't living. Like, something in me, when my brother left, something in me died.
Facts. No, absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It died. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was bad. Like, it had to go.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it had to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when it did, bro, like, what Rose was, a strong individual, bro. Like, I thought I had.
See you.
But God had prepared, like, man, God will prepare you for things.
Absolutely.
Like, nobody's prepared to lose anybody. But if it's your walk, it's something in you that God's trying to pull out and then put something else in. So you just got to accept it. If you not accept the fact that someone has passed away,
right?
Because it's hard to do that. What I'm saying is, accept your situation.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
It's not
Acknowledgement. You're
not being targeted. Like, you know what I'm saying? God's not picking on you.
No.
It is what it is.
Right. No, and like you said, I think, it's a line in the movie X-Men, that some of us are built to deal with things that other people couldn't. I mean, you're talking about something that'll all the way break some people down to no recovery, So to see you, like you said, to go through that and go through the levels and stages, because right now there's somebody who's watching this that's going through a certain stage, either in the denial stage or the burial, or they're trying to put it here and just throw layers on it and forget about it, or they might be in the stage where just any little thing triggers them to break down. So it's very important that narrative and that conversation be had, because I went through the same thing you went through, you know what I'm saying? And to the point where me and my other brother, we got into a fight behind it, you know what I'm saying? It got started getting crazy.
Yeah, it do. It started breaking the family down. Everybody,
down,
then you realize it's just rough. It made me and it put me and my mom in ours. Like, it's like she had lost two sons.
Yeah.
Like, kind of pushed me away.
Yeah.
Shout out to my mama, I love you.
No.
And we grew. Once we realized what was happening, we fixed it. But we both was like pushing each other off. I don't want nobody hug me.
Right.
Nobody care. I don't love people like that. Like, you know what I mean? So
that's so deep, man. That's so deep. So I'm so glad that you are at the mental space that you're at now, man, because it's definitely a healthy space, and I feel like you'll be a conduit and an example for other people out here that they can reference. So that's beautiful. So we in Dapper Pies right now, man. How did this store come up? Dapper Pies. How did this store come about, man?
So shout out to my boy Ellie Pies. You know what I'm saying? Boom. I met that guy probably about 6 years ago, right after I quit my first job. He used to always be like, "Hey man, hook me up with a hoodie, hook me up with a shirt.
Yeah.
I'm about to open the store." And I was like, "Man, you ain't opening no store." I used to, pick with him all the time. So one day I said, "I'm gonna go get this hoodie made for him, and if he don't pay me, we gonna get into it." He been worrying me. So I take it to him. You know what I'm saying? Boom. And he actually gets it. Like, you know what I'm saying? He buys it from me. I was like, all right, cool. So he got a couple other pieces of products. So one day he was like, "Yo, I'm opening up a store. Would you mind? You can put your stuff in there." Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Man, you ain't opening up no store." So I sell him a bunch of hoodies. Long story short, at a time when I'm talking about things were bad. Like all I had was the money to go get a bunch of stuff done to flip to get that money back from him. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still out here trying my best to, make it. I'm going through it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with the loss of my brother. A lot of things I'm dealing with.
Right.
So to see how everything is instrumental and key. I'm losing my house. I was losing a lot.
Yeah.
So he buys them from me, and he calls me back the same day. I was like, "Yo, do you have anything at your house with Doe and Love on? Anything else?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Bring everything. I'm buying it all from you," because I guess it was moving. Right. So he was like, after we had a relationship with that, back and forth, selling him stuff. And one day he was like, "How would you feel about working in a woman's store?" I mean, really, but I'm thinking, back in my mind is like, you ain't doing nothing else. Like, you selling merch all day long, and you online, and you could be out in public a little bit more and show yourself a little bit more and network a little bit more. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, man, I'll come through. Like, what you talking about? He's like, "Man, just like Wednesdays." You know what I'm saying? Like, something, just a random day of the week. Right. I was like, all right, cool, that'll work. So just every Wednesday at first I started coming through. You know what I'm saying? So then he was like, "Oh, pretty good. That's pretty dope." He was like, "How about, like, you want to do like Wednesdays and Thursdays?" So I was like, "Yeah, I do Wednesdays and Thursdays. What's up, bro?" So boom, Wednesdays and Thursdays. You know what I'm saying? So then, sneaking him in. He's like, "Yo, how would you just feel about, just full availability? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Incrementally getting you in there.
Yeah, you can move how you need to move, during the day or whatever. You need to take time, you do what you do, and we can settle in on this number." So I was like, "That sounds good." I said, "But how about this?" He was like, "We can do that." I said, "All right, cool." Right. And ever since then we've been rocking. So, at that time, we had a lot of learning, filling each other out to learn. You know what I'm saying? Right. And one day he said, "Man, I'm gonna take a vacation. Can you hold it down for a week?" So he took a vacation, and he came back. He said, "I got this vision." See, a lot of times you can't get stuff until you get relaxed and get away. He said, "For a store," and you know what I'm saying? He said, "Boom, and I want you involved." You know what I'm saying? Committed 100%. We're gonna do a men's. I was like, "This is what I was like. This is what I'm here. Like, I get it." Like, you know what I'm saying? We doing a men's store now, and the rest is history, bro. We here. Wow. And we doing it. You know what I'm saying? But what I realized was, man, that guy was tired, bro. Like, he ain't had nobody he could depend on. Down there, he working and working and working. As soon as he took a trip. And had time to reflect. Yeah. Then you get this. Yeah. But had I been at home like, "Man, I ain't selling no women's clothes, man." Right. Had I been closed-minded. Women shop more than men do. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a knock against women. I'm just saying, y'all are more prone. Y'all need more stuff. Like, y'all don't like to repeat a lot of outfits and stuff. Right. And we get it. Right. We can throw jogger pants on 5 days out the week. As long as they clean and we straight. We good. T-shirt. We straight. Just flip the T-shirts and we good. Absolutely. We good. You know what I mean? So beautiful. So how long have y'all been here in the mall? This right here, this is going on the 4th year. You doing, Cub? This is the 4th. This is. Wow, this is 4 years. 4 years? Yeah, October will make 4 years. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow, bro. Congratulations, man. Appreciate that, bro. And like that, it ties back to entrepreneurship, man. That entrepreneurship spirit, the mentality of being an entrepreneur and that transition. Because I think a lot of people, especially with the economical condition that we're dealing with now, I seen a post and it's so true that, it said that multiple streams of income is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity. Yeah, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. So, I mean, when did you start to realize, I can't just have one stream of income? Like you said, you was working that job for 10 years in the warehouse and you started to realize you value your freedom and your time more. So, like, what were some of the eureka moments or the periods that triggered you to be like, I need different type of income, multiple streams of income? And, you know, just the first thing that made me realize that is because of the nothing was consistent. Like, you know, every time you look up, it's paycheck to paycheck, and you can't get out of the cycle. Like, you try your best and you save,
and then something happens,
and it knock you down. You're like, man, I'm right back where I started. I was like, and I'm in this warehouse, and I can't see any growth.
Right.
But I think it's this one moment. This was my eureka moment, and it had nothing to necessarily do with money, but it had everything to do with respect and the image of how people view you. So I was the number one picker in the company. I had picked 50,000 tickets.
Sheesh.
Now, I think the closest person was like at 27,000. Like, I used to run circles. Like, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to nobody else if you work there. Y'all know it's the truth, fact is fact. Your boy Doe was running numbers.
Come
like,
on
anyway.
now.
So, and they wanted me to cut a cake. So they said, hey man, you know, tomorrow you come in, we're gonna have you cut a cake.
Okay.
So I come through, I got on my jeans, I got on my fresh white Air Force Ones, I got on my Mike Jordan jersey, you know what I'm saying? Boom, head to that back.
A lot of drippery.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, the big brass is coming. Like, that's not what I'm from a place.
Right.
And when we don't change our appearance per se at a warehouse based off of some executive coming out, putting the suit on because that's not me.
Because you're in a warehouse
So,
anyway.
and we're in a dirty warehouse.
Yeah.
So they called me up. They said, hey, man, we have this mark on the cake right here, and we want you to cut this because you are the most productive employee in the company.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, dope. You know what I'm saying? So I got my stuff on, boom, so my hat to the back. So as I'm standing there, I'm standing in front of all my peers.
Right.
My people.
Right.
And they looking, you know what I'm saying? Looking like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Boom.
Yeah.
And then I see the brass, and they kind of got this look, and you can see they kind of like whispering to one another. So I'm like, all right, no big deal. So I cut the cake, you know what I'm saying? Boom, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Boom, they introduced who I was. So I go back towards the break room when it was all said and done, and my man's like, Reggie, can I talk to you for a second? I was like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? Maybe this is my moment, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like, he was like, man, the guys sitting over here joking on you, saying something. We're not necessarily joking, but just talking trash about your jersey. I tell him, at least it wasn't a Mike Vick jersey.
Oh, come on, bro.
And I looked at him.
Really?
And I was like, for sure, for sure.
That let you know right there.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I said, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. I just did like that, and it kind of like, it ain't really, it ain't make me, he ain't like make me fold or nothing. He just, at that moment,
you just
I said, that was the moment when I said, I'm ready to make my transition out of here. Like, I'm about to make my plan. This is my time.
Right.
Because I thought that I was somebody in front of these people, and this is what I get.
No matter, and a lot of people are dealing with that. No matter how hard you work, no matter how much ass you kiss, no matter how much you hit the mark 1,000 times, ultimately, if they perceive you or look at you a certain way, you're never gonna pass that threshold.
I could never be anything other than that. Like, you know, it's the gold teeth, Michael Jordan jersey wearing black kid with cornrows from Petersburg.
Come on now.
And you know, we're gonna ride them. This pack mule, as they say, as long as they could.
Yeah, until you ain't no more long. But look at you now.
Until I'm 60 years old, my knees bad, and working in your warehouse for so long, and then you try to argue with me about my retirement.
Right, and ain't gonna try to fight you over your money that you earn anyway, and then kick you out the door. Yeah. Or if you don't go out on the stretcher. You know what I mean? But look at you now, though. Yeah. I mean, look how everything turned out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like all your dots have connected, and your path is definitely electrified. And you know, another question I want to ask you, or just a topic or a narrative I want to tap into, when it comes to enlightenment, me personally, I feel enlightenment is realizing how much you really don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like getting to that point of like, yo, man, I really don't. And it takes a high level of understanding just to get to that level. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel you reached enlightenment? Because I feel you're an enlightened brother. You know what I'm saying? I love the way your mind works. Like, what led you to your enlightenment stage? What led you to that?
I got it. Well, let me shout out, first and foremost, one of my really good homeboys named Pastor EJ. Impact Church of Richmond. Man, it was, like I said, that dark place again. Like 2013, waking up at 3:33 every night. Like, can't sleep past 3:33.
333. So this reoccurring number's coming to you. Okay, got you.
You know what I mean? Not telling y'all to practice symbology and all that stuff. I'm just telling
I'm
what happened in my life. Right?
Yeah.
3:33. I know, because when I look at the clock, my heart kept beating every time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, something ain't right here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My tooth hurting real bad. I'm going through. I'm like, I'm having problems. Like, what is going on?
Right.
So, a pastor inboxed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had, hey man, whenever you get a chance, I want to talk to you. So I had been going through it bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about like bad.
Right.
And I sat down in the chair one day, and I said, God, man, I need you to send somebody. Like, I need something.
Yeah.
And clear as day, a voice, because I feel like God got a sense of humor.
Yes, one of the ultimate
said,
sense of humor.
You know what, God? He said, it's a pastor in your inbox, idiot.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Clear as day, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. So call him on the phone. I said, I want to meet up with you, man. I just want to talk to you. You know, yeah. I'm inspired to just talk to you. I seen what you've been posting. So, everything in the world tried to stop me from going to meet this man.
Really?
Up to that moment. I'm talking about if it could go wrong, it was going to go wrong. I mean, I'm like, yo, what is wrong? Like, I'm just trying to meet this dude. Finally meet up with him at Kroger Spot in Petersburg.
Okay, shout out Kroger Spot.
And I'm talking about what changed my life. Everybody has their different beliefs. The revelation of who Christ is, period.
Okay.
So, you can, get with Pastor EJ if you want to and let him help you understand what it is. But it's just when Peter came and asked, Christ, who are you?
Right.
And he asked him, who do you say I am? Now, who do the people say I am? And it's a lot. It's a revelation in that.
Right.
And that revelation changed my life.
It hit that spark.
Period.
And went from there.
Period.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
A lot of things in life are about personal choice.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And what relates to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So the revelation of who Christ is means everything to me. And I learned that from Pastor EJ. Like,
Shout
you know what I'm
out.
saying?
Salute.
The revelation of who Christ is.
That's deep. That's super deep, bro.
Yeah.
That's super deep. So, peace. So yeah, that's super deep, bro. That you bring that up, and that it interjected you to that point. I remember for me, you know what I'm saying, like I was in the street wilding, crazy. I mean, I was out there wilding, and I was into the music. That's all I ever knew was doing music, and it got to a point where, I kind of just felt lost. I didn't know who I was, and I remember, I'll never forget this. I went to the field out there by Riverside. That big field out there. So it was like late at night, by myself, and I drove to the field. I don't know why I drove to the field, but I drove out there, and I got on the top of my car. I'm sitting on the top of my car, and I'm looking in the sky, and I'm like, Most High or God. I'm like, I know I never question you, and I'll never question you again. But I was like, if you truly exist, can you please just reveal yourself to me in any type of way, shape, or form, and I'll never question you ever again. Now, mind you, I'm sitting on top of my car, laying down, looking up at the sky. It's dark. You can see stars. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking up. I say what I had to say. I close my eyes. Probably have my eyes closed 3, 4, 5 minutes. I don't know. And I open my eyes up, and on everything I love, bro, there was a hand. It was a cloud, but it was in the shape of a hand reaching down. It was reaching down, grabbing me, like coming to grab. So I could see the bottom of the hand coming down like that, and it was clear as day, bro.
And
after that, yeah,
it shook you. I know it shook you.
After what?
Okay, like that.
After that, never ever again did I question the existence of the Supreme Force, and that was kind of like my validation, you know what I'm saying? And from there, I've never looked back in regards to doubting that energy. So like you said, with the presence of Christ and Christ's representation, Christ represents a lot of things, and everybody has different beliefs, and do as you for me, Christ represents light, Christ represents anointing, Christ represents prophecy, Christ represents the sun. I mean, the list goes on and on, but that connection is going to be the sustaining power for you, me, and everybody else who understands that, what that means. So that's dope, bro. That's dope, man. So yeah, man, and we got you on the cover right here, Anna Griff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a classic.
Hey, man, you done been on a lot of magazine covers, a lot of dope shows. What does legacy mean to DoeThePaperBoy?
For real, man, it's just building that, like I said, with family and friends, and just leaving these blueprints and these maps for others to follow, to find a way. Like the Underground Railroad to me is legacy. Like if you know my struggle, you know what I've been through, and my way out can be a part of your legacy, and me revealing it to you in a way that you understand. And I could truly, like, it ain't nothing worse than somebody who come to the block that ain't from the block and be like, man, y'all need to stop selling dope on this corner.
Right.
Well, you ain't never sold dope on this corner, or you're not even from here. So, bro, first of all, you don't even know how you coming at me.
Exactly.
I got bills due tomorrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving you an example. So I'm highly relatable. Like
Right.
if you've been through it, 9 times out of 10, bro, I done been through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I can sympathize, I empathize, I can relate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's to me, that's the most important thing is building that legacy and have people understand once Doe is gone and whoever speaks to me, or I could be some type of map or a light. You know what I'm saying? Like no different than this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
I aspire to be there one day.
Yeah,
you know
no doubt.
So salute you for that.
I can't wait.
It takes a lot of concentration to be able to make that and pull that off.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's a great thing. It'll sell forever.
Yeah,
like,
thank you.
Saying? That's
Thank
your
you.
legacy. That's a
Yeah,
part of your
it's a
legacy.
legacy, part of the legacy, man. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's it to me, man. Like that's the most important thing. It's just these jewels for others.
Yeah, no doubt. And you definitely laying down the groundwork and the pathway, man, especially being from Petersburg. And, you know, speaking about Virginia, period, because Virginia is like just all in the news right now with the political issues and stuff like that. And one thing I always, you know, like to highlight when it comes to Virginia, one, this is where, you know, colonial America started. Colonization and, you know, foreign settlers from Europe coming here, and some of the first chattel slaves landed in Virginia.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of history, a lot of blood in the soil, a lot of historical buildings, and a lot of sacred energy and ley lines, and there's a lot of energy in Virginia, man. So being from here, I feel like we deal with the energy that if you're not aware of it, it can affect you in ways, whether it be positive or negative. And a lot of the times we just haven't been conscious of it. But now that, you know, the consciousness is rising, you're starting to realize, like, man, like Virginia's really where it kind of started at, and we here. So, you know, who better to speak out and kind of control the narrative in regard to where our people are heading to than the people who are in the land where it kind of started at.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We're in the root of it. Like,
So
you know
you
what I'm saying?
growing up here, man, have you had to deal with prejudice or racism or just, you
Absolutely.
know?
And first of all, I was in the military. I went to the Air Force. I don't know if y'all know that the Air Force is predominantly white. No
Absolutely.
disrespect to anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
Caucasians are
I
pretty
didn't know
much-
what I was
yeah.
getting myself into when I was in basic training. I bumped into a lot of people who had never met a black person in real life.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So their perception of us is literally whatever the TV painted.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These basically almost like cannibalistic, animalistic, you know, insecure monsters, murderers. So they're programmed to believe that we mean well. At
Keyword
no moment.
program. Keyword.
Programmed to believe that.
Keyword.
So we're programmed a certain way here
Absolutely.
about white people. So what it happens, it keeps that
Divide,
that fight.
it keeps the friction,
It keeps we can't relate because, you know, you don't believe in me. I don't believe in you. Who are you? So I had one instance, like obviously coming up from Petersburg, it's predominantly black, but when I came over to Colonial Heights, it was issues. I still deal with things now. I got locks, I got gold teeth,
Right.
I got things. People kind of profile me now. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I know how to handle it because I'm a man. I handle it with wisdom. I approach it head on, and I take care of it.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I remember this one instance. Literally, I was going around to use a water fountain. We had bays. 48, or I forgot how many beds on each side. 24 beds on 24, 24, 24, 24, or either 48, 48. Either way.
Okay.
One side was more. It was most of the black people was on my side. It was like 6 of us.
Okay.
And it was like 2 on that side, and everybody else was white. Same thing over here. So I go to use a water fountain. Our water fountain wasn't cold, so I go over to. I'm not gonna say the white side because we're in the military. I
right.
go over to the other side.
Right, okay.
Which I guess they thought was the white side, and Now I'm drinking water. When I turn around, I'm surrounded by 4 or 5 people.
Really?
And they're like, "Yo, why are you drinking water over here?"
Really?
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, "What do you mean why I'm drinking water over here? Y'all don't supposed to be drinking water over here. Who is y'all?
Yeah. Who is y'all?
Who is y'all? You mean the people from the other bay or just whatever?" He's like, "Just y'all." Like, you know what I'm saying? So now I look up, and then here come not only just black people, but white people from my side on my behalf. Like, "Oh, whoa, what we doing over here?"
Right.
That's not what we're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, we all got to get through this together. Let's figure this out together. Like, we're not gonna be arguing about a water fountain. That's when I started to realize, and we started to open up to one another and sit around and write letters to home and go, "Hey, man, you aren't that bad. You know, after 2 weeks of being around you, you know, this is what I perceive black people to be." And like, it was a great learning experience for me because it's one of the biggest culture shocks you will ever experience to be in an environment. It's almost like what's the movie? Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans? Yeah.
When they went to camp, and you had to ride
right
you had to ride with the people that you was with.
Right there.
It is no. So what it does, it fused us all together. In memory, some of my coolest friends are white.
Absolutely.
I really don't see color. I know, and I know it sounds crazy,
Right.
but what I see is people's spirit.
Oh no, absolutely. Oh, the
On the
energy.
outside,
Yeah.
you look what you look like.
Exactly.
I get it, but
Yeah.
I know your spirit.
Oh, you got to look at energy nowadays, because you can't go off of these two eyes, because at the end of the day, what we fail to realize is you look at somebody just because they have the same pigmentation as you doesn't mean they're for you, and just because they have a lighter pigmentation or they're melanin recessive doesn't mean they're against you. You have to go off of energy, integrity, their words, works, and deeds. And it brings you to another point with Petersburg. Petersburg is a predominantly dark, melanin-rich, African-American, city, town. Now, I was watching Killer Mike. Shout out to Killer Mike. He got a new series, Trigger Warning. When you get a chance, watch it. It's about social experiments, and basically that's what he's doing. He's conducting social experiments. But one thing he talks about is, how he was raised, and, basically he was raised by his parents, grandparents, predominantly melanin-rich neighborhood, quote-unquote African-American, a black neighborhood. So that's all he knew. He knew black economics and that from a young age. So Petersburg is kind of like that. It's predominantly melanin-rich or, African-American. So I think people who are raised like that, you guys have a special perspective.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of us were either raised in a mixed dynamic, or it's like predominantly European based, and you don't get to really grow up around your people like that. But Petersburg is one of those cities where it's predominantly us. So do you think that was a plus for you? Do you think that it helped you and enhanced you, or do you think that kind of hindered you when you had to deal with other cultures and races?
I think for me it was a plus, because being from that artist background, I was always open to new ideas. Like when it came about life and just anything, because like to me, people are art. Like everything is art. Like conversations are art, language are. So being from Petersburg, we oftentimes we ain't have rides to come to the mall and spend our money. Actually, we had Walnut Mall when I was really young. You know what I'm saying? That's how. So we only spent money with the candy man who looked like us. We spent money with people who looked like us all day. So to leave Petersburg and then to go and get like dropped into the Air Force, I think was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it's two extremes.
Right. Yeah.
It's the best place to settle in, because it's a controlled environment.
Absolutely.
Like as much as you want to think that you in charge, or they think they in charge, ain't none of us in charge. It's this black dude right here with his hat on. Yeah. He's in charge. Run the show. And he has a Hispanic dude with him, and it's a white dude. They do it on purpose.
Yeah,
like,
trying to show you.
They're all together. Yeah. And the common enemy is you.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So what they do is they break everybody down. You know what I'm saying? They dice you up, do all this, and then they put you all back together, and by the end, y'all gonna all be cool, because all y'all gonna do, y'all got each other to get through this. Because guess what? You're black, 20 of them are white. Yeah. If you mess up, all of them get in trouble. And if one of them mess up, all y'all getting in trouble. So we gonna put you together.
Come on, man.
We gonna break you down. We gonna put you together. So it's been many nights. You know what I'm saying, that you only had people of different cultures to lean on. Like you know what I'm saying. Like you in the joint and you going through it. You know what I'm saying? You sleeping outside at night for a couple days, and you know what I'm saying? You need somebody to wake you up and tell you it's a spider crawling on your back. Yeah. It's happened to be a white dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at that rat. Like, no doubt. You don't know what you're going to go through and who's going to help you. So
I think we need more of that. So I think we need more controlled environments to have these conversations with people from other backgrounds, other cultures, other religions, because it just doesn't happen. And then now you have this false filter with the internet and social media, where people are projecting these digital images and living false narratives, and it makes it even worse. So I love that you have that backstory where you were kind of forced into a controlled environment where you had to deal with these stigmas in society. So that's beautiful, man. Well, bro, like I said, man, you're a strong brother, man, a beautiful spirit, a beacon of light, pillar of the community, dope artist, dope fashion designer, man. The Harvest is out right now. How you doing with this, man? This joint has been pushing, bro.
It's doing good. My cousin hit me up this morning. I know you sold like 50,000 copies. I was like, no, we more like about close to 6,000.
Hey, what was your goal? I know you had an ultimate goal.
The goal is 100,000. This how 100,000 works.
Okay.
It's not 100,000 necessary copies it is. It's just 100,000 copies.
Right.
Of whatever.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no doubt.
The next project coming out, I'm not gonna wait till I get to 100,000 to drop more music.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep going.
Right.
And then we'll pick right up on the next number.
What made you choose the title The Harvest? What does that represent?
Man, okay, so first of all, when I do a project, before I really get into it, I try to see God's face on the revelation of what it is that I'm about to put out. Because anytime you put intangibles in people's hands, whether, and this be to all the designers, whatever you design and clothing that people decide to adorn themselves in, to me, it has to be tested by fire. And what I mean by that is you have to know what imagery you putting it out and what it stands for, because if not, people are consuming it, and what it does is God is not going to allow you to create things that are going to destroy other people or disrupt them. You can't be a stumbling block to your brothers and sisters. It's not going to work. You may try, it's going to fail.
Yes,
ultimately.
absolutely.
So, you know, it was like, what am I bringing forth? I've done so much.
Yeah.
God, like, help me understand, you know what I'm saying? Boom. And it was like, it's time to harvest. You know what I'm saying? What's it? A harvest plenty, but the laborers are few. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my homeboy Pa's wife had a dream about a harvest. Really? And I said, that's the name of the album.
Wow.
So this is, I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
But I got something in my spirit, I can't communicate it. And she came in and said, it's a harvest. It's harvest time for you. How you doing? It's harvest time for you.
Oh,
and
wow.
I said, that's the name of the album.
Wow.
So yeah,
you see how the Most High work? You see how that energy works?
And I know when people listen to this, they're gonna say, "Oh, Doe, hella cliche," or he sounds like he pre-rehearsed. No, it's the truth. What's up, bro? It's the truth, bro. Like, I mean, this is my life. I can't. You know, you can't live it for me. I can't live for you. I can just try to be an example and try to tell you different things that you're not just here by chance.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason why you're here. And if you really pay attention to what's going on around you, the clues are all there. You just have to understand who you are.
That's exactly what the book is based on. You hit it right on the head, and that's exactly the whole synopsis of, you know, your gift, your passion, your purpose, man. You hit that right on the dot, bro. Well, Doe, man, you know, I really appreciate your time, bro. There's anything you want to let the people know about?
Just you know, shout out to everybody that's out there doing their thing. Shout out to my mom, dad, family, friends, my wife, my kids. Cuz Wolf, Paz, people that I didn't, you know, might not mention in the interview per se. I really don't want to forget nobody, but you know, everybody, my boy Rackley, Pastor EJ, already mentioned you, but you know what I'm saying? Impact Church of Richmond over there. Yeah, man, shout out to you all. Anna Grover doing, man, VASK, Drive Over Everything, Bike by Doe, Drive Over Everything. Holla at your boy.
Come on.
Shout out to my homie Survey, having me, hit me up. I ain't know we was recording today.
Yeah, he sure didn't. He like, we're recording today? I'm like, yeah, bro.
We're not rehearsed. So
no,
it's like,
it's natural.
It's freestyle, man. Right off the top, and it just works because it's time.
Yeah, it's definitely time, man. Natural energy. That's why I named this Control the Narrative, man. And you guys, be sure to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now for the Purpose Network. It's Control the Narrative, episode 2 with DoeThePaperBoy. Peace and love. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, thank you, bro.
Nah, thank you, man.
Anytime.